Nice day, lots of shade. We're hitting Oregon today. It's gonna be near the end of the day, but it's gonna happen. We almost packed beer out of town. I'm really glad we didn't. It was that long dirt road up here. It took us like 12 miles. It was rough. Probably easier than the trail was though. Some beautiful, maybe we'll get a gap right here. I've been seeing where we came from that way, and then on the other side of the ridge out this way, which is probably not the best view for you guys, but hey, all for you. Far enough that way is Oregon. I only got like 13 or 14 or so trail miles. Last night was awesome. We had a really cool spot up on this ridge. There was a good breeze, so there was absolutely no bugs, which was just amazing. It felt like for the first time, and I can't even tell you how long, we were just like camping. Like we got water, set up my hammock, did all my chores, and got my food, got my water boiling, then took all my stuff over to a log next to Nibbles' stuff. And we actually sat there for like an hour or more, just like telling stories and laughing around. And we're so used to like running to the hammock or his tent and like zipping up the bug net and hiding from the skeeters and all that, the mozzies, that it was, I think the first time we've just hung out. Like, I know I say this all the time, like hiking versus camping, but it really just felt like we were just hanging out and camping. It was awesome. So tonight might be the same. If not tonight, probably tomorrow, because I think we only had 44 miles to Oregon or to Ashland. And I don't really know if we do 25 today, if after 19 or 20 tomorrow, we're really gonna hitch into town and get there at like 5 or 6. It's kind of like you pay for a hotel, but you just like wasted the day, you know? It's almost better to just camp at the road, have a luxury dinner, eat whatever food you got left, and then wake up first thing in the morning and go to town. We originally were going to do a Nero and a Zero, but Ashland's just so damn expensive that I'm not sure if that's going to be, what's that sign say? I'm not sure if that's going to be the case anymore. So in that case, I'd rather do a Nero, or if we do the Zero thing, this is weird, do the Zero thing, do it instead of in the center of town like we wanted, because it's such a quaint little town apparently, doing it like at a budget inn down the road and hitch 2 miles into town to spend the day there. But either way, I'm definitely excited to celebrate getting into Oregon and just resting for a little bit. It's been real, Callie. Just saw a southbounder I recognized from way back in the desert. Cy, his name is. I believe we last hung out at Casa de Luna on my birthday, which is way back at the end of May. I think I saw him again in the Sierra, that first little stretch where we were all digging it, but we weren't really in the Sierra yet, you know? We didn't know what we didn't know yet. And he got out at one of those first passes to get, I think you don't need to get your bear can until that point. And they decided it was really hard, and they hadn't even gotten to elevation yet, so they went up to Washington. But now seems like a great decision. But he's also the first Sobo. He's one of those like super positive thru hikers that nothing gets him down. Weird, right? Nothing but great things to say about Oregon despite the rain. Every other Sobo's told me that it just rained the whole time. Loved Oregon, says I'll love it. I don't know. It was cool to finally see a familiar face. All of us Nobos are so spread thin, you don't really see too many anymore. We were talking about that too. There might be a bit of a bubble ahead of us. He said he saw a ton of people that skipped the Sierra, but just kept going north. They didn't like switch or flip or anything like that. And a bunch of them, and some others, I guess, are at Crater Lake, which is, I don't know, a week or so, maybe a little bit more ahead of us. So, interesting. But yeah, it was cool to talk to an old head from the desert. He's like, oh, you're still going, huh? I'm like, yeah, there's still a few of us out here kicking around. These flowers are pretty. Nice. That's a few. I'm honestly not sure if that's Shasta. It doesn't look like it. Maybe McLaughlin? Who knows? But the terrain has been pretty gorgeous the last, pretty much after lunch, I should say. Look at that. Only a couple more miles to Oregon. I think this is it. Yep. Here we go. 958 miles. Boosh. In Oregon, all right. Barely see it right. Boosh. That is not McLaughlin. There's some cast on there. That is not McLaughlin. That is still Shasta. So that is what a 200-mile half circle looks like. Woo. But in Oregon, but still looking at California. Just trying to get to camp 1 more hour. Totally in Oregon. Chilling in the hammock. I'm not sure if these colors will turn up, but let's check this out. There we go. There. Man, this thing is gorgeous. In fact, let's go check it out. Awesome. You probably can't see it over here. We've got purples. Let's see. Sorta, kinda. Anyway, you get the drift. First sunset in a while. I feel like I should look this way just because it looks so good. First sunset in a while that I've even been able to see, and it's one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. Oregon. Alright, I'm going to crawl back into my hammock now because it's comfortable and warm. It's actually quite cold up here. It seems to be like a deserted whole state park campground. I don't know. No one is man in the booth up front. There's supposed to be water faucets here that are all turned off. This lake is very low. Nice little mountain in the background. Part of me wants to, you can just kind of see it. It's a kid's playground over there. Kind of want to hang my hammock in those trees and maybe play on the swings or something. There are two, oh, there's a deer. Sorry, bud. There are 2 Sobos at the campsite I just passed. I might go maybe ruin their privacy and camp with them, or maybe find a spot in these trees. It's really weird. Even there's supposed to be like some lodge across this, over there somewhere, that has, you know, beer and burgers and all that, and everyone talks about getting a hitch like a mile up this road. The road was closed. Like, all right. Maybe with the low water, they just, I don't even know how this is low. It's been raining, it's been such a wet year. Anyway, I thought that was weird, and here's a lake with a big mountain in the background, and that's neat. But it's been a long day. I'm gonna go find a spot to hang the hammock, either with those people or in privacy, and then figure something out. It's dinner time. Yeah, this place seems pretty much deserted. There's 2 hikers back up there. I saw a few packs over there by those terrible bear hangs. Useless bear hangs. They weren't even Ursacs. Tied right up against the tree. But this place looks pretty much perfect for hammocking, and I've got a little picnic table I can take down. And I told the people up there if they saw nibbles to let them know I was down here, and I'm just gonna take this very fine spot, I think. Right here in the middle. Oh, I've got a deer buddy right down there. I don't know if, probably not. Anyway, my old hat died. I think it's actually gonna show up on a video when I hit my shoulder on that branch, but new one, so we'll see how I like it so far, but it's definitely keeping my head from getting burned. Oh, it's a mom and a fawn. 2 fawns. I'm sure this is more of a deer trail than a people trail. Hey! Just wanted to say hi. Aw. Look at that baby. Hey guys. Oh, they're so tiny. All right, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. All right. Usually I set up everything first. I still gotta dress her up with the quilts and all that good stuff. Take my shoes off, put on my brand new Crocs that Mom sent me before I just start doing food and everything. But I got a bit of a mail drop from Mom and a few other people actually, so I've got some of these fancy meals, so I figured I'd get that started right away so I can cook while I do everything. This was folded up against a tree. I'll put that back up in the morning and leave this place like I found it. This might be a pay campsite. I think I saw like where you self-register kind of thing up at that kiosk up there. So if that's the case, I have some change from town. Tomorrow morning on my way out, I'll probably put a few bucks in there, whatever it costs, unless it's something crazy, and then I'll just be like, sorry, but I'm pretty sure it's $5 or less. And otherwise, I have this place all to myself and a few deer, and hopefully no bear. We'll all be eating those other campers who have their bear bags like right by their tents. What do we got? Thai style chicken. Nice. This dude's been hanging out with me for like the last half hour. Just watching me sip my tea. Hey there, bud. Took me about a half hour later than usual to get out of here. Let's go through here. But I actually had coffee in the morning, which I haven't done in a while. And it's just such a nice, perfect little campsite, and the sun was rising over the water. Chilly though, very brisk morning. Like, I was sitting there thinking, oh man, I don't think this micropuff is going to be warm enough come Washington. But couldn't make myself leave. I was kind of enjoying having a nice campy kind of morning. And the ultimate of luxuries, there's porta potties and a privy here. There's bathrooms, but all the doors are locked. But and there's trash cans, so all my trash from last night I put it sealed in this bag, and now I get to dump it, and my food bag is so much smaller. There's even, by these porta potties, which is called D&D, which I just think is funny, there's a hand washing station. Ridiculous. What luxury. It's been an interesting couple of days. Right before Ashland, I ran into an old Nobo buddy from the AT named Blink, English gentleman, about my age I think, and we hiked together off and on a handful of times, not too much, but I remember from like Virginia into the north I saw him a lot, and didn't even know he was on the PCT. Turns out he started like a week before me and flipped, so now he's a dirty rotten Sobo, he says. And we chatted for a good bit. It was just really cool to see him. And then I met Credence, or Alex, a guy who also was Nobo, with me on the AT, though we never met. We were both Trek bloggers. And after the AT, we both became REI gear nerds. We went pro. And we've chatted on Facebook quite a bit, knowing we were both coming out here. He was actually set to start right before I did, but last minute financial decisions decided to go Sobo and start later. And we've messaged a bit off and on. And I was just talking about him actually the other day, or thinking about him, and ran into him this morning. It's really cool. It's finally nice to put a voice to the face, you know? We actually had a really good talk. We sat there for like over an hour, I think. Just, you know, one of those little things that just puts you in a much better mood. I'm happy I met him finally. Probably chat for a good bit. It was fun also to geek out about being through hikers that work for REI that want to do so much more with REI. But maybe that's a conversation for another time and place. I think I'm officially 2/3 of the way through. Sobo, I passed earlier, mentioned the sign. Berries all over this place. I think they're huckleberries, not blueberries, but truthfully I don't know the difference. But I've been eating them by the handful now. I'm gonna probably get to my campsite at 30 miles today, later than I'd like, probably at dark. But so many berries and I'm hungry. Kind of makes me think about like a week or so short shy of Katahdin 2 years ago. All those blueberries in Maine were just nuts. Like people were filling Ziploc bags. They were all over the place. And it's kind of weird to think this is that time of year. I finished, I think, August 29th. It's like the 23rd or something now. I mean, I'm a lot further from the finish line right now, but it was just kind of bizarre to think 2 years ago, right now, I was a week away from being done. Whereas now, well, hey, 1/3 left. Oregon's gonna fly by. It's been beautiful so far and relatively flat. Ashland was fun. Looking forward to Crater Lake now. It's like one of the big, I don't want to call it a marvel. Just, you know, you talk about the Sierras, you talk about the Goat Rocks Wilderness in Washington, and you talk about Crater Lake. And like everyone else, I'm totally taking the alternate trail around it. And Nibbles has told me that there is something making noise behind me. That there's a lodge or some such that you can sit on, like these old rocking chairs out front, and drink beers. And I think we're gonna carve out an afternoon to make that happen. The lava rock. We've been hearing so much about it. Whoa, it goes way back there. And it's like the red brick road going on. A guy back there mentioned something about people spreading some sort of red powder or something. I guess it makes it look cool. But all those guys and girls in the minimal shoes are probably not enjoying this. Minimalist. Oh boy, it got dark fast. I think I'm just under a mile away. God, I'm so ready to stop. I think I even saw Nibbles' tent like way off in the distance, like 6 miles ago. I like looked over. It looked like some guy was changing inside and the door was wide open, and I was like, I'm not gonna call out. So I just kept walking. Man, I just wanna get there and get the stove going. Biggest fishing spot's like my, oh crap, better hurry efficiency setup is get there, drop everything, get the water for dinner boiling. While that's going, throw up the hammock straps and maybe the hammock if there's time, and then add the food, give it a stir, and put it in the cozy. And then once that's done, I can, slow down, sit in the hammock and peel the shoes off, all that good stuff. But man, I just want to get there and get this process started. I'm so hungry.